Welcome to Overthinking Tech. I got a pretty simple one today. Repasting a GPU. This is my 1080 Ti, and it's been serving me well, especially with this chip shortage. But I've noticed that it's been getting hotter and hotter. Now it looks like this cooler has a couple points of contact. So we have the 4 main mounting screws here and here. And then there's 3 additional screws that appear to help hold the cooler. If I can get a good angle on it, maybe. Appears to hold the cooler down to the VRMs. And nope, that section just looks like VRMs. Actually not sure where the NAND flash is on this one. But, based on my count, that's 7 total screws. Perfect. So to start with, I just want to loosen all of them to see how they feel. Okay, these back 3 immediately came loose, and there doesn't appear to be any tension on these. Yeah, there's no tension. So I'm just going to take these all the way out. And then get over to these guys. Now these ones will have tension on them, so I'm just going to go around in a circle, slowly loosening. I don't want to put unnecessary stress on the die of the GPU by trying to tilt the cooler on it. Ooh. Is that? Looks like there's a rubber ring around each one of these feet that has this orange coloring underneath of it. Never noticed that before. Okay. Now this is a little bit warm because I just recently ran the benchmark, but I think that should make it easier to get the old thermal paste unstuck. Now in doing this, I actually want to save the thermal pads. So I want to be careful not to lose those or damage them. So if I wanted to remove the shroud, it's those little screws through there that connect the shroud to the metal itself. And then there's 2 on this side. Is that it? That might be it. I might try to remove the shroud here so that I can get better access to the physical heatsink. I don't know if I just need to apply more force or what. I'm going to try removing these screws to see if that lets me take the shroud off. And now I'm just coming in through the top here to remove those guys. Ah, something's coming off. And it appears to still be connected on the other side somewhere. I'm pulling the heat sink with it. I prefer to just remove... Oh, I see. Can I get to those without removing... There's two more screws on the front that are holding the shroud down in the same way as the back too. However... It would appear as though removing those is completely unnecessary. Like I said, we have one RGB connection here, which are nicely stuck in there. No apparent way to release them. About the fan one. Interestingly enough, there's extra ports on this next to the fan header. I don't know what the use case for those is. Okay. The fan one came out. Move this out of the way. Ooh. Yeah, so damaging some of these is what I was trying to avoid. Because I don't want to have to replace these if I don't have to. Now, most of them actually look quite good and stayed in place. Just that little bit there. It's still pretty well covered though. And these still feel quite flexible. Thermal paste, definitely on the rubbery side. No real give to that. But we will find out after the replacement if this improved anything. Now that's interesting. There's a chip missing here. We have 1, 2, 3, but that fourth spot, there's no chip in. And I didn't just pull it off. 4, it appears though another 4 on this side, and then 3. I guess that does get you to 11, right? If these are gigabit NAND flash chips. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No, wait, I can't count. 9, 10, 11. There we go. I wonder why they left the other one off. I think the Titan of this series had 12 gigabytes instead of 11. So that would be where the 12th gigabyte went. I just can't imagine there was that much of a cost-saving difference from going from 12 to 11. But now comes the cleaning part. I got 91% isopropyl alcohol, also called rubbing alcohol. Now, this is also commonly sold in the 70% range. But I think for this case, the 91% is going to be better. Clean paper towel, nothing on it. I might use a couple of these, just so that I don't spread thermal paste around anywhere. and my thermal paste. I just want to get a nice even coat on this guy. Next step is make sure you get all the thermal paste off your hands. At least if you're me, that's the next step. The next step actually is going to be replacing these screws I took out of here. So I undid a couple of screws at the back that connect the shroud down to the heatsink itself. I was thinking that it was going to help me get it off, but in the end, it all came off together. So I want to put those back in place before I put this down. I think that'll make the whole job a little bit easier. That way I can hold on to the shroud and things won't fall off. Perfect. Okay. Need to flip this over, set it down, and reconnect the fan connection when I do it. All while trying to make sure it stays lined up. Hopefully, it's as easy done as it is said. But so many things are seldom like that. Okay, so I'm doing the fan connection now. That went in perfectly. Wonderful. Now I'm just lining it up as a starting point here with the NAND flash chips, so I can see exactly where their heat sinks fall. I want to see the back of it. Yep, to see that I have those screw holes lined up perfectly. Oh yes, all 7 of those look wonderful. That fell right back into place. Now I want to do this in the opposite order that I took it apart in. So these 3 screws here I'm going to put in last. Oh, a little bit of glare there from the window. But those back screws over the VRMs are going to go in last. These 4 are going to go in first. And just like before, when I loosen them slowly, I'm going to tighten them slowly. Again, don't want to put pressure on that GPU die. So get the first one in. Get just enough that it won't pop back out on me. And I'm going to go opposite corner, making sure to keep the springs on the whole time. And I don't want to over tighten this either. Now there's more sophisticated ways of handling this, but I'm just using muscle memory to get them to about the same tightness that they were to begin with. But that looks exactly like it did before, which is the goal. All that's left now is popping this back in the system, doing a stress test, see if the temperatures look better, and if they do, we're all done. So I considered doing this a fancier way, but I was too lazy. So, system's rebooted. Let's see what happens. Okay, max GPU temp was 70 degrees Celsius. Looking over, we did get a hotspot up to 85 degrees Celsius at the max during that test. But side by side here, we have our old max temps here at 79 for the overall GPU and a hotspot at 93, 71 and a hotspot at 85. And again, these were identical testing conditions. We have an 8-degree cool down. I am exceptionally happy with how this turned out. I'm terrible at ending videos.